Good afternoon, guys, and thank you so much for tuning to spend some time with me. It's quality time with Owen Francis, and today we're going to be discussing why a data pack index is important during the manufacture, repair, modification, and installation of pressure equipment. You are going to love it. Data pack index. Why would an index be important? Why would we even consider bringing up discussion a data pack index for discussion? Think about an index is and what the importance that an index has for any document, particularly a data pack. An index tells you exactly what you're getting inside the book and where you can find it. So at glance, you could have a look at an index with a list of regulations, requirements for regulations being answered, and requirements for standards being answered, for health and safety standards for fabricated equipment, whether you're working with tanks or structures or pressure piping or vessels. Your index would capture the sort of specifications or the standards to which are most important for the fabrication of your pressure equipment. So the index is really, really important. Another thing I should mention about a data pack index is that it's got to be approved. A data pack index has got to be approved, especially if you're working in an environment where the equipment is pressurized, if you're working with pressure piping or pressure vessels, etc. It's got to be approved. So an approval is a process whereby you draw up an index and stipulate what you deem as a client, as a contractor, or business owner, manufacturer, fabricator, what you deem necessary in compliance with the client's contract for a data pack index, and you list it out. So the data pack index really provides excellent insight as to one, not only the type of equipment you're manufacturing, but the sort of steps you're going to take in order for you to manufacture something from fabrication right up until completion and installation. An index is a list, and I like to think of an index as a promise that consideration has been taken into account for particular requirements, right? So a data pack index I like to think of as a promise that whatever you have listed for the contents of the pack, for the manufacture of piping or vessels, this is exactly what you have contained inside. So it's really important. So data packs form part of the records requirement for ISO 9001 as well as ISO 3834. So I haven't seen a standard set for the compilation and review of data packs, which I believe to be very important. And if you have, please reach out to me, let me know, send me a comment, put me in the right direction so that I can find some sort of standard or guidance for data packs. But generally in our industry, especially in South Africa, data packs have been compiled by experience, and there isn't a particular standard known for, even though your quality management systems recommend all the documentation that's required and work instructions and checklists and they don't have a stipulated format for your data packs compilation and review. Yes, the systems do have indexes like ISO 3834. You'd have to submit an index for your data pack, but why it is that the items are listed on the index are important isn't really covered. So we sought to address that. Okay, so some basic information that you have on a data pack index is who's the fabricator, the client, the project, the drawing number and your revision for your drawing, and then some of the documents that are important for a data pack index. The first, certificate of manufacture. Okay, so this is a certificate saying that you've manufactured this vessel or piece of pressure equipment in accordance with government regulations and a standard, and it's got reference, it's got confirmation, a place for you to sign as an authorized inspection authority and as a contractor, right? So you are pledging your compliance to the standard and regulations. Your quality control plan, this gives you the steps of the entire job, from approval of quality control plan right up until your handover. Very important documents, got to be on the index. Next is your drawing. So no data pack should exist without drawings, because then why do you have the pack? All data packs exist with the presence of drawings. In fact, it's the drawing that gives the data pack its life. The drawing is the compass for the data pack, because it directs the contractor exactly which way, what sort of approach he needs to take when dealing with the drawing, what sort of standards to comply with, what the requirements are for the drawing, right down to the millimeter. So your drawings are very important. and I like to think of your drawings as a compass. Your material map. This map is designed for any contractor to trace the heat numbers for material used. Alright, the material map is a drawing which indicates exactly what heat number is assigned to each item listed on the material list for the purpose of traceability. Material traceability sheet. This document is really just to capture the agreements or the approval between the contractor, the AIA, and the client for the heat numbers of the material captured on the material map. Your weld map is a drawing that indicates exact location of all welds deposited, including welder identification and the date of weld, also including NDT carried out. So a map, once again, like a material map that shows you exactly where the welds are, who welded the weld, and on which day. And in some cases, was there any NDT carried out on it, and what was it? And some guys like to include the report number on the weld map, which makes it very traceable. Your weld comprehensive, also another document that's used to confirm that one, the welds were carried out and acceptable and viewed by the client, the contracting AI, which you sign off. Your procedure qualification record. This is an important document for welding. A procedure qualification record is a record of a test weld performed and tested more rigorously to ensure that the procedure will produce a good weld. Very important. From your procedure qualification, you obviously draw up your welding procedures. You can have more than one welding procedure with only one PQR. Your welders qualifications. Of course, you're going to have welders qualifications on the index. Of course, when working with pressure equipment, you can't allow welders to work on a piece of equipment who aren't qualified to do so. Specialized work. NDT reports, definitely. You're not instructed testing reports for the percentage of NDT that you've carried out. It's got to be in there. Your punch list, your final inspection, going to have a look at the work and see if it's compliant from a visual perspective, and making sure that the data pack is also compliant, or you have all the documents that are necessary for the fabrication. Especially your tests, your pressure test certificates, your NDT reports. Calibration certificates are very important for the gauges during pressure test. NCR, non-conformance report, your non-conformance and corrective action report. This is very important as a report that documents any significant deficiency, a tool to put right things that are going wrong, a means of stopping repeated errors. This is a very important document, and what happens most of the time in the industry, which is sad, as HR use non-conformances as a means to punish guys in warnings and stuff like that, and it's not the way the tool is designed. It's there to make things better, not to make things worse. Inspection reports, very important document, and also something that needs to be considered amongst inspectors is the importance of how to write up an inspection report. What information should be in the report and what information should not be in the report. A little hint with inspection reports, always consider the standard that you're working to. If you're working with American standards, remember, especially for welding positions, American standards welding positions are different to your EN or your ISO welding positions. So take into consideration that when drawing up your inspection reports.